Okay, for your week 5 calculations, go under doc sharing and you will see this document titled Week 5 Calculations. And I have revised this a bit, so if you downloaded this during week 1 of the class, go back and look for the revised one, because I have changed this up to make it a little easier. I took out a problem that people had had troubles with in the past. Anyhow, you will see there are just a handful of problems, 3 main ones on the page. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you I'm going to go through a couple of sample problems that are very similar to 2 of these 3 problems, and I think it will help you. So take a look at this. I don't have this under doc sharing, but I'll go ahead after this recording and put it up there so you have it. Here's the first problem. Call it number 1. John is being treated for epilepsy with Dilantin. That's a trade name for phenytoin. It's an anti-epileptic, anti-seizure drug generally given for grand mal seizures. And he takes 250 milligrams of Dilantin 3 times a day. So each dose is 250 milligrams. He can't swallow the solid dosage forms. This comes in a little capsule. So he is given the suspension, liquid suspension. And the suspension that he has a bottle of it, and it has a strength of 125 milligrams per 5 mils. Okay, 125 per 5 mils. So this question has a couple of parts to it, and the first part to it asks, how many milliliters does John take for each dose? It's a suspension, so he has to measure it out in a little, like one of those little dosing syringes or a little teaspoon, that syringe, teaspoon that's marked in teaspoons and mils. So he needs to measure out so many mils so that he gets 250 milligrams in that dose. And we're not asking how many mils he's taking for the entire day, just per dose. So what you want to do is you are given what the strength of the Dilantin is in the bottle, and it's 125 milligrams per 5 mils. You can kind of think of that as sort of a conversion factor, okay? Because the way we're going to solve this problem is through the ratio proportion method, where we're setting the problem up and cross multiplying, okay? So I'm going to rewrite the strength of the bottle as well, vertically, but basically I'm not going to rewrite it. I'm going to show it vertically. So 125 milligrams. Do this, 125 milligrams, and then below it it's over 5 mils, right? 125 milligrams over 5 mils, and then equals, what am I going to put on the other side? On the other side, I'm going to put down what we know. We know that his dose is going to have 250 milligrams in it, right? So I'm going to write 250 milligrams here, okay? But what I don't know, and this is the question, is how many mils is he going to take? X mils. So I can put X because that's my unknown, and that's what I'm solving for. All right? And actually, I've got it written this way, just reverse, but let's go ahead and, okay? 125 milligrams over 5 mils equals 250 milligrams over X mils. I could have flipped this. I could have put my mils on top and my milligrams on the bottom. Doesn't matter, but I chose to do it this way. I could have put the 250 milligrams over X mils on the left side and 125 over 5 on the right side. Doesn't matter, okay? So now we need to solve for X to get our answer. So what we're going to do is we're going to cross multiply. We're going to multiply 125 times X, okay, equals, and then we're going to cross multiply the other side. 5 times 250. Okay? And when you work out the math, you get 125x equals, and 250 times 5 is 1,250. Now, unfortunately, we don't have x all by itself. We still don't know how many mils to give John. So we need to have x all by itself on the left side of this equal sign. So to do that, we need to get rid of this 125. How do we get rid of this 125? We are going to divide the 125 by 125, right? Because when you do that, 125 divided by 125 is 1. 1 times x is x. Or you can look at it as canceling out. They're identical, so they cancel out. The thing is that whatever we do to one side of the equation, we must do on the other. So we need to divide this 1250 by 125. Y'all see that? And when you do that, you're going to have x equals, and then you got to divide the 1250 by 125. So 1250 divided by 125 equals 10. And then we put our mils. X equals 10 mils. So we're going to give John 10 mils of the suspension. Now the next question is, how many teaspoonfuls does John take for each dose? Again, not for the entire day, but for each dose. So we know a couple of things. First of all, we're going to be converting mils to teaspoon. We know how many mils he's taking. How many teaspoonfuls is that equal to? Well, we need a conversion factor. So go back to your conversion table from last week, and you will find that 1 teaspoon equals 5 mils. I didn't calculate that. I just looked it up. Actually, I just knew it because I've used it so many times. And then what we want to know is, we know he's taken 10 mils, but we'd like to know how many teaspoons that is, right? That's all we're asking. 10 mils equals X teaspoons. So we're just going to set it up like we did last week. We're going to rewrite what we have horizontal here vertically. So I'm going to type 1 teaspoon all over 5 mils. Put my equal sign here, okay? And then I'm going to put X teaspoons all over 10 mils. Remember what's important, doesn't matter if the teaspoons are on the top or bottom, you just have to make sure your top units are the same and then that your bottom units are the same, all right? Then our next step is going to be, we need to solve for X, so we're going to do this cross multiplying again. 1 teaspoon, or 1 times 10, equals, and then we're going to multiply 5 times X. Cross multiply. 5 times X. Do the math. 1 times 10 is 10, right? Equals 5 times X is 5X. Well, we still don't know what X is because we got that 5 in front of it. We need to get rid of the 5. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide 5 by, we're going to divide 5X by 5. Why? Because we want those 5s to cancel out. When they cancel out, we just have X. Or stated another way, 5 divided by 5 is 1. 1 times X is X. Whatever we do to one side of the equation, we must do to the other. So if we're going to divide 5x by 5, we must divide 10 by 5. All right, now you're going to do your math. 10 divided by 5 is what? 2. Equals, and then 5 divided by 5 is 1. 1 times x is x. We have isolated x. So x equals 2, or x equals 2 what? 2 teaspoons. And you could probably do that in your head. If you knew 1 teaspoon was 5 mils, 2 teaspoons would be 10 mils. That's pretty easy to do in your head. I believe on your problem, it might not be so easy to do in your head. You won't want to pull out your calculator. It's not a nice round even number. Okay? So take a look at this. I'm going to upload this to Doc Sharing so you're good to go. If you have any questions, email me or call me. Or email me a time when I can call you and I can talk you through this again. Okay? Thank you very much.